Welcome to MSB lecture series on main group chemistry. This is going to be the last lecture on group 15 elements. Once after completing this one, I will move on to the chemistry of group 16 elements. Today let me look into group 15 halides. To start with, let us look into the reactions of phosphorus pentachloride. In fact, phosphorus pentachloride is a very useful reagent. You can see in the reaction scheme I have given in this slide. PCl5, when it is treated with alcohols, leads to the formation of chlorides. Similarly, when PCl5 is treated with fluorinating agents such as KHF2, it leads to the formation of potassium hexafluorophosphate. When it is treated with water, depending upon the reaction condition, that leads to the formation of either phosphoric acid or phosphoryl chloride or POCl3. PCl5 on treatment with phosphorus pentoxide leads to the formation of same POCl3. Similarly, PCl5 when it is treated with ASF3, a good fluorinating agent, leads to the formation of ionic complex having PCl4 plus and PF6 minus. And treatment of PCl5 with BCl3 leads to the formation of PCl4 plus BCl4 minus ion pair. PCl5 reacts with hydrazine to form bisphosphoenamine. Here I have shown. And similarly, when PCl5 is reacted with ammonium chloride in chlorinated solvents such as symmetric tetrachloroethane, leads to the formation of phosphogenes with N equals 3, 4 up to 8, with trimeric and tetrameric cyclotriphosphanes being major products. So, let us look into some aspects concerned around POCl3. Among the phosphorus oxyhalides, the most important one is POCl3. This can be prepared by reaction of PCl3 with O2, or one can also prepare starting from P4O10. So, P4O10 when it is reacted with PCl5 gives as I mentioned directly PCl3 can be reacted with oxygen to form POCl3. So, phosphoryl trichloride is a colorless fuming liquid and melting point is 275 Kelvin and boiling point is 378 Kelvin. Okay. And of course, this undergoes readily hydrolysis by water liberating HCl. Some of the many uses of POCl3 are as phosphorylating and chlorinating agents and also as a reagent in the preparation of phosphate esters. If you want to know a little bit about the bond parameters, this PO bond distance is 145 picometer and this angle is 115, whereas this angle is 103 and PCl bond distance is 199 picometer. Okay. So, similarly arsenic forms halides ASX3 trivalent halides as well as pentavalent halides as ASX5. For example, ASX3 and ASX5 both are known with respect to X equals fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine, and when it is penta, it is only X equals fluorine and chloride are known. And trihalides can be prepared by direct combination of the elements, or one can also use arsenium oxide. For example, As2O3, when it is treated with concentrated hydrochloric acid, it gives okay. Similarly, treatment of As2O3 with calcium fluoride in presence of sulfuric acid leads to the formation of in the solid, liquid and gas state, ASF3 and ASCl3 have molecular trigonal pyramidal structures very similar to PCl3. Of course, with an appropriate reagent, ASF3 may act as either fluorine acceptor or fluorine donor. I will show you both of these reactions. For example, ASF3, when it is treated with Kf, which is a strong fluorinating agent, leads to the formation of K plus ASF4 minus. In contrast, when ASF3 is treated with strong fluorine acceptor such as SbF5, it forms So, it shows the dual nature of ASF3. So, it can act as a fluoride donor as well as fluoride acceptor. The reaction of arsenium trichloride or AsCl3 with dimethylamine and excess of HCl in aqueous solution leads to the formation of As2Cl9 3 minus anion having this composition. The structure of this As2Cl9 is dimeric. So, AsF5 is a colorless gas. Antimony trihalides are low melting solids. And although these contain trigonal pyramidal molecules, each antimony center has additional long range intermolecular SPX interactions. I will show you later with some structures. We come across this kind of interactions. The trifluoride and trichloride are prepared by reacting Sb2O3 with concentrated HF and HCl respectively, very similar to I showed you in the case of AS2O3. SpF3 is a widely used fluorinating agent and is a very powerful fluorinating agent. It converts, for example, B2Cl4 to B2F4 and COCl2 phosgene to either COClF or COF2. It can also convert SiCl4 to SiF4 or SOCl2 to SOF2. So, here fluorinating agent. Okay. And of course, one can also convert PCl3 to PF3 as well. Okay. So, reactions between SbF3 and MF gives salts which include K2SbF5 also. For example, SbF3, if it is treated with 2KF, it forms K2SbF5, something like this. I will show you structures of some of those things in the next slide. You can see here, this is for SbF5 anionic, dianionic, and this is for SbF4 minus, and this is for SbF4 F16 4 minus, and this is for Sb2 F7 minus. So, depending upon the stoichiometry of SbF3 and MF, one can get the following salts. Antimony pentafluoride can be prepared by treating SbCl5 with hydrogen fluoride. So, in the solid state SbF5 is tetrameric and the presence of SbF-Sb bridges account for the very high viscosity of the liquid. Antimony pentachloride can be prepared from the elements or by reacting SbCl3 with Cl2. Liquid SbCl5 contains discrete trigonal bipyramidal molecules having two longer axial bonds. So, like phosphorus pentachloride, arsenium pentachloride, the axial bonds in SbCl5 are little longer than the equatorial bonds. For example, so they are 227 picometer, whereas axial ones are little longer, 233 picometer. Okay. So, below 219 Kelvin, the solid undergoes a reversible change involving dimerization of the SbCl5 molecule. So, if SpCl5 is cooled below 219 Kelvin, it forms the dimer. On the other hand, dimer on warming above 219 Kelvin, it gives back the monomer. So, similar to trihalides of antimony, with respect to the bismuth, BiF3, BiCl3, BiBr3 and BiI3 are all well characterized, but in case of pentavalent only BiF5 is known. So, others are not known. So, all are solids at 298 Kelvin. In the vapor phase, trihalides, all trihalides have trigonal pyramidal structure. Each trihalide is hydrolyzed by water to give BiOX species, which are insoluble compounds with layer structures. So, the reaction of BiF3 with fluorine at 880 Kelvin yields BiF5. So, this is a very powerful fluorinating agent, and trihalides are essentially Lewis acids very similar to PCl3, PF3, and form donor acceptor complexes with a number of ethers and also Lewis bases. For example, you can see here what we have is a tetrapyridyl BCl3 compound. So, it is a 7 coordinated one. We have 4 pyridyl groups, N is coordinated to bismuth, and here in this one BiCl to Cl8 2 minus is there, and this is Bi to I9 3 minus is there. So, other important compounds are facial BiCl3 THF thrice and meridional BiI3 where Py is pyridine, and also cis BiI4 Okay. So, these are some of the examples of adducts which shows Lewis acid behavior of trihalides, readily forming complexes with appropriate Lewis bases, preferably nitrogen and oxygen donors. Okay. Let us look into the classification of ligands now. Of course, phosphines are widely used as ligands both in coordination chemistry and organometallic chemistry, and also in homogeneous catalysis. Phosphines have remarkable ability to stabilize tungsten metals in their low valence states and also in unusual oxidation states. This diagram what I have given here essentially shows the influence of donor and acceptor properties of ligands on crystal field stabilization energy. In fact, whatever the ligands we come across can be simply classified into just 3 categories. First one is pure sigma donor ligands. You can look into this example here, first case, where I have just given pure sigma donor ligands such as ammonia and water and the corresponding ligands. Here you can see they have low lying filled sigma orbitals, they interact with metal appropriate orbitals, and you can see here the CFSE, the magnitude of CFSE. And next we have another class of ligands, they are called sigma donor and pi donor, essentially all halides. they have low lying filled sigma orbitals and low lying filled pi orbitals because of s2p6 electronic configuration. So, in this case both are directed towards the metal. As a result, what happens, CFSE decreases considerably. You can see here magnitude with respect to pure sigma donor ligands. The third class of ligands are essentially sigma donor and pi acceptor. These type of ligands are phosphines, carbon monoxide, N-heterocyclic carbenes, olefins, pyridyl ligands, etc. So, they have low energy filled sigma orbitals and high energy empty pi orbitals. In this case, what happens, you can see CFSE remarkably increases. So, this is how the sigma donor and pi acceptor ligands stabilize metal complexes in their low valence state. Of course, let us look into the bonding we come across with metal carbonyls and metal phosphines. In fact, they are very similar. Both have low energy sigma donor orbitals and also both have appropriate empty pi orbitals for back bonding. So, you can see here in case of carbon monoxide, this carbon lone pair goes as sigma, whereas pi star of CO essentially combines with one of the T2G orbitals to form bonding and anti-bonding orbitals, and to the bonding orbital these electrons are coming. This is called back bonding. Similarly, we can see in case of phosphines, this lone pair goes as sigma towards appropriate metal EG orbitals, and phosphine sigma star energy is quite comparable to the T2G of metal. Here this sigma star of phosphine PR3 combines with one of the T2G, let us say DXY, DYZ or DXZ to form bonding and anti-bonding orbitals with pi symmetry, and here these electrons are coming here. So, this essentially indicates the back donation of metal T2G electrons to the sigma star through back bonding. So, that means both are quite comparable. The interesting point here is the energy of sigma star can be altered by altering the substituents on phosphorus, unlike pi star where that is not possible. So, another interesting example I will show you. So, this is a titanium 2 compound. So, titanium electronic configuration is D2S2, 3D2, 4S2, and here in this case titanium is in +2 state and having 2 electrons in the d orbital, and this is an octahedral molecule surrounded by 2 bis dimethyl phosphinoethane ligands and 2 methyl ligands in axial positions. And strictly speaking, any metal complex having up to 3 electrons in the d orbital should be paramagnetic, but interesting feature of this molecule is this is diamagnetic. Let us see how that happens. You see octahedral D2 and diamagnetic, and here what happens under the influence of these bisphosphine ligands, the degeneracy of T2G is destroyed and dxy will become lower in energy compared to dxz and dyz. These electrons now readily given to sigma star of bisphosphine. This shows the diamagnetic behavior. Okay. So, of course, titanium 2 plus is a very strong pi donor, favors metal to phosphorus pi bonding, and empty phosphorus to alkyl group sigma are more stable and lower in energy. So, they readily overlap and take these electrons through back donation. And another important aspect with phosphines is the cone angle. Of course, cone angle will give you some information about steric attributes in phosphines. What is this cone angle is? You can see here cone angle can be defined as a solid angle let us assume this is a phosphine. Let us assume this is a phosphine with pyramidal structure, and now this is binding to the metal and the average metal to phosphorus distance is about 228 picometer. So, now I will define what is cone angle. So, cone angle is nothing but a solid angle theta at metal at a metal to phosphorus distance of 228 picometer, which encloses the van der Waals surfaces of all ligand atoms or substrates over all rotational orientations. So, basically this encloses the van der Waals surfaces of all ligand atoms over all rotational orientations. So, this is called cone angle. So, this cone angle will vary depending upon the phosphorus substituents. For example, if I take triphenylphosphine, you can see now this cone angle increases considerably. So, this cone angle should enclose the van der Waals surfaces of all ligand substituents over all rotational orientations. So, this is called cone angle. So, how this helps in determining the capability of a phosphine in homogeneous catalysis. For example, let us look into the values I have given for various phosphines here. pH 3 as 87 degree, whereas tris mesetyl phosphine has 212, the maximum here. And now, for example, trimethyl phosphine can form tetracoordinated compound with nickel and also with palladium and also with platinum, whereas triphenyl phosphine can form a stable tri-coordinated compound with platinum, whereas tris tetrabutyl phosphine can form even stabilized platinum with 2 coordination number. So, for example, before we do any catalytic reaction, if we take a compound having 18 electron, first we have to dissociate 1 or 2 ligands. Let us look into the dissociation of one of the phosphine from NiCl4 to give NiL3 plus L. Here let us look into the this dissociation constant for POMe3. This is 10 to the power of minus 9 and the Tolman angle is 107. So, when this ligand is substituted with dimethyl phenyl phosphine, so dissociation rate increases and it is 5 into 10 to the power of minus 2 because the Tolman angle is 122. So, when you consider phosphine, triphenyl phosphine, this happens complete dissociation the moment you put into the solution because the Tolman angle is 145. That means, as the angle increases, because of steric crowding, removal of 1 or 2, dissociation of 1 or 2 phosphines becomes very easy. So, that means, if we make any phosphine with bulky ligands prior to the oxidative addition, it readily forms 14 or 16 electron species, and this information readily comes from simply looking into the Tolman cone angle. So, this is where Tolman cone angle assists in looking into the catalytic properties of some of these phosphines and their metal complexes. Okay. And another aspect is Bight angle. So, influence of Bight angle on catalytic efficiency is also very important. For example, if you look into a typical square planar complex, the Bight angle will be 90 degree. On the other hand, if you take a very bulky phosphines, what happens? They occupy larger space. As a result, these two will come very closer to each other. In case if there are 2 carbon fragments that had to be eliminated through concerted elimination, reductive elimination, this readily facilitates. If the angle is instead of 90, if it is 115 or so, these L and L, if they are carbon fragments, they readily come and establish a bond here and form 3-centered concerted elimination. So, this is where the Bight angle also very handy in looking into the catalytic efficiency of a bisphosphine ligand. So, these are some of the ligands that are generated in my group here for exploring their transition metal chemistry, coordination chemistry and catalytic applications. These are some more ligands I have shown here, and these are some of the ligands derived from cyclodiphosphosane, and some of these compounds also very valuable in forming metallophosphine frameworks similar to metallo-organic frameworks. And another important feature of phosphines is their phosphorus NMR spectroscopy. So, these The 31P NMR spectroscopy is as simple as proton NMR, and here all phosphines have distinct chemical shift. As a result, what happens when we react these phosphines with metal complexes, we can elucidate the structure readily and we can look into the fate of the reaction simply by recording 31P NMR. One can also do kinetics by doing temperature dependent or variable time NMR. That helps in understanding lot of aspects revolving around metal phosphine complexes and their coordinating ability, and also their ability to promote organic transformation as homogeneous catalysts. So, let me summarize the chemistry of group 15 elements so far we have discussed. Group 15 elements are also called as pnictogens, made up of non-metals in nitrogen to main group metal bismuth. Both +3 and +5 states occur for all elements. +3 state is more stable for bismuth due to the inert pair effect. Phosphorus compounds in +3 state are excellent Lewis bases with versatile coordination behavior and are very important in coordination and organometallic chemistry and also in homogeneous catalysis, whereas compounds in +5 state are important in materials and biology. Inert pair effect dominates heavier elements due to filled 3D inner shell. Nitrogen forms many molecular oxides stabilized by strong p-pi bonding. I conclude the chemistry of group 15 elements. In my next lecture, I will be dealing with group 16 elements. Until then, have a pleasant reading of main group chemistry. Thank you very much.